Hey guys, it's Mike here, Baseball Collector, and happy Sunday to everybody. This video is going to be a video response to the D&D, the Double D brothers or whatever, for their contest where they asked us to go through each of the candidates for the Veterans Ballot, which is going to be announced a week from today. This is one of my favorite times of year because we get Hall of Fame's additions, both on the voting side in January and the whatever Veterans Committee is meeting this year for in any given year for those. So first of all, I want to say great contest. I was planning on doing a video about this, and then I'll do another one in January about the regular ballot, because Hall of Fame is kind of what I do the most and what I really enjoy the most, because these are the greatest players that have ever played. And so to contemplate who should be in that elite class is awesome and fun. So I'm a big Hall guy. So what that means is you can be a big Hall guy or a little Hall guy. Little Hall guys think the Hall of Fame is only for the elite, the exclusivity of the best of the best that have ever played the game. Well, the Baseball Hall of Fame is already that. It is one of the hardest one to get into in terms of your percentage likelihood. If you played a game in Major League Baseball, what's the percentage likelihood that you're going to be a Hall of Famer is the lowest in baseball of any sport. And so it's already an exclusive club. So to get in, again, I'm a big Hall guy, so meaning I think that if you're worthy, you should be in. I don't, PEDs be damned, all the other, whatever else. I think Pete Rose should be a Hall of Famer based on what he did on the field. So I'm a big Hall guy. I think the guys that deserve to be in to mark the history of this great game of baseball, they should be in the Hall of Fame. So to that end, ironically, I'm not a big fan of veterans committees, because I feel like, look, if the writers didn't get it right over their period of time that they were eligible during normal voting, then what's going to change? Their stats haven't changed. It's kind of interesting to have these committees now decide after the fact, are these people worthy of being in the Hall of Fame or not? So there are, I guess 10 people on the Veterans Committee ballot, so I'm going to go through them rather quickly because I don't want this to be a long, boring video. I'm going to try to use cards to show off kind of who I think should be in and who shouldn't. I don't have autographs of every player that's being considered because I don't think some of them will ever get in, and so I buy autographs, relic cards, rookie cards, etc. of players that I think will either ultimately make it or certainly deserve to make it. So the first one is Steve Garvey. Steve Garvey was a Hall of Fame, not Hall of Famer, MVP, I think back in '75 or something for the National League, Dodgers, Padres. Really good long career. To me, Garvey never passed the smell test as a Hall of Famer, and I just think he didn't play long enough at a high enough level that deserved that recognition. I do not think the committee will vote him in, so that's a no from both me and a vote on what I think the committee will do. The next one is Tommy John, and Tommy John had a really long career and won 288 games, so that's pretty impressive, but he did it over a really long period of time. And so if you just kind of look at his on a per year, like his average year wasn't that great. And he never struck me as someone that I thought, man, great Hall of Famer. But I would also say that about Gaylord Perry and maybe even Fergie Jenkins, some other players, that these marginal pitchers that I think got in, mainly because of the drought of great pitchers. Let me look at my list here so I don't miss anybody. All right, next is Don Mattingly. I have one Don Mattingly autograph in my collection, and it's that one right there. It's numbered to 23, which was his, there it is right there. His jersey number was number 23. So Mattingly is definitely first ballot Hall of Very Good player. I think if he would have just played longer, he would have definitely been a Hall of Famer. He had some years, obviously, in the mid-'80s where he was incredibly dominant and batting titles and MVPs, etc. To me, it's got to be greatness and awesomeness combined with long period of time. There are exceptions to that rule, which would be Sandy Koufax. I think if Clayton Kershaw retired right now, even after only 10 years in the major leagues, he's in. So there are exceptions to that, but pretty much you got to combine greatness in your career and longevity to equal Hall of Famer, in my opinion. So I would not vote for Don Mattingly to be in the Hall of Fame, but I do think that the committee is going to put him in. He's been around baseball now for a long time as a manager, and I think there's a growing movement to have Don Mattingly in the Hall of Fame. So I do think Don Mattingly gets in. The next one is Mr. Jack Morris. And there's my autograph in my collection of Jack Morris. Jack Morris, again, had a very good career. He had amazing postseason success, won several World Series with the Tigers, the Twins, the Blue Jays. So I think ultimately, and he had the most wins in the 80s. So I think that, I think Jack Morris should be in the Hall of Fame. And I do think that the committee is going to put him in this year as well. Next one is Mr. Dale Murphy. I actually have two autographs of Dale Murphy. This is a 2001 Fleer Greats for my Fleer Greats set, and this is a in-card 1980 Topps card. I actually got that in person at the National a couple of years ago. He was signing at a booth, and I got that for free. So very nice guy, very tall, and a great career with the Braves. A little bit with the Phillies and the Rockies or whatever at the end of his career, but mainly an Atlanta Brave, won back-to-back MVPs. And, really, really close. I think that he was, again, dominant in the 80s, intimidating as a hitter, and I'm going to say that I would not vote him in, and I do not think the committee is going to put him in this time. I do think ultimately Dale Murphy will be in the Hall of Fame. I just don't think it's this round. I think it's too crowded of a Veterans Committee ballot for Dale Murphy to get in. Another guy that I do not think is going to get in is Mr. Dave Parker, longtime Pirate. There's my two autographs of Dave Parker. This one I actually pulled from a box of 2014 Classics, and this one's from my 2001 Fleer Greats set. Dave Parker was a 5-tool player that was really, really amazing. The Cobra, Pirates, Reds. I think he was on the 1990 Reds team that won the World Series, or maybe it was the A's. Can't remember. He Hall of very good. His counting stats, I looked at him last night, just don't add up for me. He had some really, really good seasons and did some things, but just not a Hall of Famer, and I do not think the committee is going to put him in. One person I missed, because I don't have an autograph of him yet. I have one on the way because I bought one the other day because A, he doesn't have very many autograph cards, and B, I think he absolutely will be in the Hall of Fame someday, and I think it's going to be this ballot, and that's Marvin Miller, head of the Players Union for all those years, introduced free agency, did some amazing things behind the scenes for baseball, and so I really think as a contributor, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think he will get in. I don't agree with Dustin about him having enemies and all that kind of stuff. I think that his time of being recognized is kind of coming full circle, and that it's being more and more appreciated what he did for the game in the 60s, 70s, 80s. So I paid a lot of money for a Marvin Miller slabbed PSA DNA 9 autograph. It's on the way. It's on an archives card that he had a few years ago. And so there were not very many on eBay, and I'm thinking, God, we're a week away. If he got elected, his prices are going to go up. So I paid $100 for a Marvin Miller autograph, which I probably way overpaid, but there were so few that I really just wanted to get it. Next one is Ted Simmons, who I don't have an autograph for, and the more I look at Ted Simmons' stats, I'm shocked he's not in the Hall of Fame already. He was definitely one of the best catchers of all time. They said it on their video about how much he is greater than other catcher stats and different things. Absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and I'll be really surprised if he is not elected next Sunday to be in the Hall of Fame. Louis Tiant, no. Simply no. Had too many really bad seasons. A couple of great seasons, but just too many bad seasons, and so Louis Tiant is a no for me, and no, I don't think the committee will let him in. Last but not least, Alan Trammell. So I have a 2001 Greats Alan Trammell, and I have a Donruss Diamond Kings Alan Trammell signed. Okay, so Alan Trammell for me, if you put him in, you got to put in Lou Whitaker. So I think that they kind of went hand in hand throughout their careers. Both really good players, not really Hall of Fame worthy to me. So I would not vote for Alan Trammell, but very close, honestly, very, very close. And I don't think the committee is going to put him in. So in terms of who I think the committee is going to put in, I think they're going to put in Ted Simmons. I think that's a yes. Sorry, I keep looking at my list. Jack Morris, I think, is going to get in. And I think Don Mattingly is going to get in. So I think they could have up to 3 players inducted from the Veterans Committee ballot, which is very unusual. That does not happen very often. So it would be interesting to see that. And we'll see who we welcome to the Hall of Fame, if anyone, a week from today. So thanks for watching. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.